It's not even about it being realistic or not. Like, it's going to happen. So fasten your seatbelts or whatever. And when I knock him out, I go down in the history books forever.
They're talking right now about doing Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul.
I know, I saw that.
Jake Paul apparently wants that fight. And he agreed to, I think it was 99% to 1, where Joshua gets 99% of the money and he gets 1%.
Jake Paul probably doesn't care about the money,
Well,
but
he has plenty of money, and if he won, oh my God, if he beat Anthony Joshua, good Lord. I mean, that's a big if.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight.
Jake Paul just threw gasoline on the boxing world. Again. The YouTube-turned-prize fighter called out Anthony Joshua with brutal trash talk, claiming he'd heffing beat AJ's ass and mocking the former champ's chin, skill, and stiff style. He just got knocked out, right? Paul jabbed, playing up their friendly rivalry before declaring he'd even take down Canelo. But let's be real, while Jake's mastered the art of hype, Joshua's heavyweight pedigree would turn this dream match into a nightmare for Paul. Is this a serious challenge, or just another viral stunt to stay in the headlines?
I want to fight Anthony Joshua because I know that I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass.
But he just got knocked out, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends, all this shit, but I want to fight you. I will beat Canelo. I will beat a lot of fucking people.
Eddie Hearn's laser focused on making Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua next. In a Ring magazine interview, the Matchroom boss revealed daily talks with Paul's team, insisting both sides are desperate to finalize the blockbuster. The ultimate decision is Jake's, Hearn admitted, noting agreed terms but lingering broadcast hurdles. If they want it, it's happening. While an Africa event remains a dream, the Paul-Joshua megafight takes priority, a collision of boxing's old guard and influencer era that could redefine the sport's economics.
I just keep getting asked that question non-stop. For me, my focus right now is probably more to make the Jake Paul fight. You know, I've been speaking to Nikisa most days. I do really think there's a big desire from both teams to make that happen. The ultimate decision is going to come from Jake because we're in, basically, and we've discussed how the terms would work. You know, obviously, there's some conversations around broadcasters and stuff like that, but if they want it, it's going to happen. So I probably steer towards that, but I would love to do an event in Africa, and it would definitely be a nice option to have.
Eddie Hearn called out Jake Paul's motives for targeting Anthony Joshua. AJ's the money man. That's why everyone wants him, including Jake. But he revealed the real intrigue. Paul actually thinks he can win. Is this confidence or delusion? Either way, the fight's heating up.
What's going on? What is all these AJ call-outs like?
Great. I mean, like I just said, ultimately, he's still the money man. You know, everybody knows it, and it's not a boast. Like, everybody wants to fight AJ because, one, they think they can beat him, and two, he generates the most money. So, that's why Jake, if he weren't a big draw, Jake Paul wouldn't be talking about him. But for some reason, Jake Paul thinks he can win the fight.
Jake Paul's manager, Nikisa Badarian, is fueling talks for a biblical showdown with Anthony Joshua, drawing intriguing comparisons to justify the matchup. Jake walks around 208 to 210 pounds. Joshua lost twice to Usyk at just 220 pounds, he noted, dismissing size concerns while acknowledging Jake isn't yet at Usyk's skill level. Badarian highlighted Paul's experience fighting heavier opponents like Mike Tyson, 228 pounds, and suggested Joshua might be long in the tooth as Paul rapidly improves. The most telling revelation? We're actively discussing it with Matchroom.
I think the fight can absolutely happen. I'm looking at it as Jake versus Joshua, which is quite biblical and it's quite impactful in many ways. If you look at Anthony Joshua, I think he is 28-4, if I'm not mistaken, and 2 of his losses are against Alexander Usyk. Usyk weighed in at 220 pounds for those fights. Jake is not Usyk, a lot more years of experience needed to get to that level, but Jake walks around between 208 and 210, and he fought Mike Tyson at 228 pounds. So I think size-wise, we can get comfortable with it, and I think experience-wise, Jake is learning very fast and growing, and And Joshua is a little long in the tooth, so it could be a very interesting matchup, and we're actively discussing it with Matchroom.
Turki Alalshik teased boxing's future in a star-studded interview, confirming active talks for Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Why not? It's a win-win deal. The Saudi power broker, who's revolutionized the sport, including a big surprise potentially involving Tyson Fury. Saudi Arabia isn't just hosting fights now, we're pushing greatness globally, he declared, referencing England's Newcastle takeover and Istanbul's rising scene.
Did you get Jake Paul here tonight as well?
Yeah, I see him. He's guest for Queensberry, and we are talking now about the future. Let's see.
Are you really talking about a fight between him and Anthony Joshua?
Why not? It is win-win deal.
You seem to have made anything possible in boxing. Is the dream coming true? I sat with you a long time ago now.
You are with me from 3 years now. You see what happened. But Saudi Arabia now is pushing to have big events, great events, not only inside the kingdom, also outside the kingdom. We have a lot of things here in England. You see Newcastle, you see a lot of things. About the boxing, the most important things now for all of us, no more pay-per-view. This is the important thing.
Okay, it's very interesting. Finally, I was in Turkey, in Istanbul, Turkey, 2 weeks ago, and you spoke to Tyson Fury. Have you spoken to him anymore about getting him back on a 3-fight deal?
There is big surprise in the 26th. You will see it.
Keep surprising us, sir. Lovely to see you.
Yeah. At least 6 to 8 big events in 26.
Thank you very much.
Trainer Ben Davidson didn't mince words on Jake Paul's boxing credibility after Francis Ngannou's KO loss to Anthony Joshua. If Ngannou, one of the most durable men alive, got flattened, what chance does Paul have? AJ would be a 99.9999% favorite. Davidson dismissed Paul as not good for boxing and suggested Joshua could play with him or dispatch him instantly at will. The verdict? A matchup with Paul isn't competitive. It's target practice for AJ, and potentially another nail in the coffin for crossover boxing's legitimacy.
In terms of a fight, like, Francis Ngannou is one of the most durable men on the planet. And look at what happened there. I don't think it's good for boxing, if I'm honest.
I was about to ask, obviously, if we were to see it, I thought AJ would be a heavy favourite with, I'd imagine, 99.9999% of the sport. How quickly would you expect to see Anthony Joshua get the job done against Jake Paul?
He could go in and do what he wanted. He could play with him if he wanted to, or dispatch him.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. backed the potential Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul clash as great for the sport, with zero hesitation. AJ's 1-0 against late-start fighters like Ngannou. Why not add Paul to the list? Jones argued. He spotlighted the financial upside. Joshua makes more fighting Jake than anyone else right now, while noting it's a low-risk, high-reward scenario to put him back on the scene. His verdict? A resounding "it'll happen."
I want to change subjects just a little bit here. And Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. One, do you think it's good for boxing? And two, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he'd probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if you want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's a perfect win. You get a lot of money doing it.
People keep asking when he'll face a real boxer. Well, going straight to AJ is certainly one way to answer that. Warren laughed, acknowledging the extreme leap in competition. Still, he couldn't resist putting it in perspective.
I respect them both. It's not a fight I even thought of. It's nothing to do with me to start with. I mean, it come out of the blue, but it's intriguing. And I think from Jake's perspective, I think, he's had a lot of criticism about, he is a pro boxer now. The way you want to look at it, he trains as a pro, but, and he's fighting as a pro. They said it's about time he fought some. I've seen some of the stuff, that's been said. When's he going to fight someone? Well, he's gone from one extreme to the other. You know, that's what he's doing. So if that fight happens, you've got to take your hat off to him.
He got called out by Andre Ward, AJ. Would you rather see Jake fight AJ, which is obviously, as we know, a mismatch, or Andre Ward, who's been retired for, 4 years?
I'd much rather see AJ fight Tyson.
Oh, please. I dread to think how many
we
times
don't know if
we've
that's
done
going to
this.
happen because the big man, he's filming, he's not made his mind up what he's going to do, and he certainly won't fight this year.
Tyson Fury delivered a bombshell take on the rumored Joshua Paul fight, and it's pure Fury chaos. Tune up? Nah, Jake Paul knocks AJ out. The Gypsy King doubled down, calling Joshua a spent force, while praising Paul's chunky new heavyweight physique. Bit chubby, bit bulky getting there. Never one for subtlety, Fury marveled at Paul's audacity. This guy calls out everyone from Tank Davis to AJ. That's RTO scale callouts. Yes, he invented a new metric for wild matchmaking. Between dismissing AJ's relevance and hyping Paul's rising status, Fury's verdict was clear.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky. Getting there. That's protected. And he just done a great job over the aging Chavez Jr., who was a middleweight, but still.
Sure.
Yeah. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? Who did he call out? Tank Williams and Joshua. That's just crazy. That's what you call Richter scale call-outs.
Richter scale, I like that.
Anthony Joshua, 28-4, 25 KOs, is a two-time unified heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist, representing the pinnacle of traditional boxing excellence. The 34-year-old Brit rose through the amateur ranks with a disciplined, technical style, winning his first world title in just his 16th pro fight. With wins over legends like Vladimir Klitschko and a knockout-heavy resume, AJ's power and athleticism made him a global star, though recent losses to Usyk and a cautious rebuild have critics questioning his prime status. Still, he's a proven elite heavyweight with 18 title fights under his belt. Jake Paul, 9-1, 6 KOs, is the disruptive force of combat sports, a YouTuber turned prize fighter who's meticulously weaponized his viral fame into a boxing career. The 27-year-old problem child started with novelty bouts, KOing fellow influencers, but gradually faced aging MMA stars like Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva. Though heavier now, 210 plus LBS, his resume lacks a single professional boxer, just faded legends in circus fights. His unorthodox path includes relentless self-promotion, a iron chin, and surprising power, but his technical flaws, footwork, defense, remain glaring against elite competition. For Paul, AJ represents a suicidal leap into deep waters, or the ultimate cash grab spectacle. Whether this fight becomes a historic crossover event or a one-sided spectacle, one thing is certain: Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul would blur the lines between boxing's old guard and its new, chaotic era. For AJ, it's a chance to silence doubters with a highlight reel knockout. For Jake, it's the ultimate high-risk, high-reward gamble to shock the world. Love it or hate it, the drama alone guarantees fireworks. Will skill prevail, or will the influencer era claim its biggest scalp? Tune in if it happens.